It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of FreedomIn5Minutes.com and ProSulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this. Your power comes from your plateau. That and more coming up. Well, good morning, everybody. We're on a walk with, yes, you guessed it, the Luna Meister. We're out and about with all the yellow, white, and purple flowers, just absolutely loving all of this. And she found something that she really wanted to sniff, so she's out there sniffing. Oh, man. Well, for those who do not know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very, very difficult. So for the last, it is going on a year. It will be 1 year. Wow. For a year, I have been practicing. Oh no, it's past a year because I started February last year. So over a year, I've been practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Something that I'd always wanted to try, and got into it because of the Warrior program, all of the Wake Up Warrior stuff. It was one of my goals. So last year, about February, one of my targets was to compete in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. And that actually happened within 90 days of setting that target. I competed in my first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, ended up getting bronze on no gi, and ended up not getting anything on gi. Gi is the uniform that you use in jiu-jitsu. No gi is basically without that uniform. So, ended up getting a bronze, and it was something that was really, really cool. It was a pivotal moment in my life. I never thought I would continue and just keep on going, but it's something that has continued to challenge. It is like chess. It is a chess match every time, and you learn more and more and more every single time. And one of the things when it comes to jiu-jitsu is that you have these plateaus. So for a couple months now, this has happened 2 or 3 times. So I'd get to the gym, we'd be doing our normal training class, and basically on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the normal training class is where you are, you're actually learning something, you're being taught something, and then on Saturday mornings, we roll. It's just sparring the entire day, or in the entire time that you're at the class. So when you're rolling, you're putting into practice everything that you had learned. Well, over and 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 over again, I would consistently get submitted by the same guys who they'd been doing this much longer than I have, but they were continually submitting me, and I'm like, gosh. And submitting means they won. They either got me in an arm lock or a choke or something, and I'm like, man, I just am not getting better. And one guy in particular, he's our resident blue belt. So in jiu-jitsu, if you don't know, there's only a few belts in jiu-jitsu. It's white, blue, purple, brown, and black. Okay. And then they do have a red belt, which is like you have to be in for like 40 years or something like that to get it. But very hard. It takes a long time to get from belt to belt. So just going from white belt to blue belt it's a bit of you definitely have learned a ton. Okay, so you're much better than your typical white belt, right? So all that being said, the resident blue belt, he would submit me usually in 15 to 30 seconds, maybe a minute if I was lucky. And it was just getting so frustrating. And so I would take a little break from it every now and then. I'd be speaking at WeWork or whatever, take a break, go back. And it was happening and happening and happening. But one thing that happens in jiu-jitsu is that these plateaus, I think that they're there, that they naturally happen because they do two things. One is I think that they provide a constraint, and it allows you also to build up different types of muscle memory for the different things that you're learning. No, I don't know. That's just a theory. But the last week or two, oh my gosh, the same guy who was submitting me, in 30 seconds couldn't submit me at all in 5 minutes. And certain people who I have gone against over and over and over again and lost, I've been able to submit. And my body would start doing things that I knew in my head, and I had tried and failed, but now have been able to actually pull off. And it was like a switch just flipping. Boop. How the heck did that happen? I don't know, but it's happened 2 or 3 times in this whole ordeal, this whole learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to the point where now going against some of the younger folk, I can't believe I say that, 39, jeez, going against some of the younger folk, where I would be, panting, and I would be like, I'd have in the back of my mind, they're gonna out maneuver me, they're gonna outdo all these different things. Like, as they're doing whatever they're doing, I'm just calmly rolling them over, calmly putting them into a submission hold, calmly doing things where I'm like, what the heck happened? And this breakthrough of plateaus has happened over and over again in this particular market. However, if I look back on life, if I look back on business, spirituality, my body, my health, these plateaus come very often. And a lot of the times we see these as bad things. We see this plateau as a bad thing. Gosh, I feel stuck. Well, in that instance, there are certain things that you are learning. There's certain things that you are learning in those plateaus that you might not even realize that you are learning. People who are ProSulum customers who have a virtual systems architect, a lot of the times they become customers because they realize that they're in a spot where they cannot get out of, that the constraint is time, the constraint is they're working a lot in their business, or the constraint is that they're tired of when they stop working, their business starts declining, and they see that plateau. They've been in that plateau for a while, right? I had one recent customer who just came on who had been researching a lot of different ways to start systemizing what he's doing. a lot of different ways, but never really pulled the trigger. And that's not because he's not action-oriented, but because during that plateau process, there's something about that process, that being in that particular situation, there's something about that situation where the wheat is being separated from the chaff, right? The good is being separated from the bad. The good idea, the good system, the good thing is being separated from the bad. There's a problem, right? There's a problem, and obviously there's a possibility of fixing that problem. For me in jiu-jitsu, the problem is getting submitted by these bigger guys, these guys that have been around for much longer than I have. And there's a possibility of improving my technique against these guys, or finding some way to improve my technique against these guys. But often, what's lacking is that path that's in the middle. What path do you take to get there? And this is something I learned. That whole framework right there is something I learned from Garrett J. White at Wake Up Warrior. Very powerful. So you have the problem, you have the possibility, but you need to have that path. And not all paths are going to take you to that possibility, right? Not all paths are going to take you there. Some paths might take longer. Some paths might take shorter. Some paths might not take you there at all. And so during that plateau, the reason not to be scared, the reason not to fear and to think that you're going to always be stuck there is because during that process is there to help you to make a good decision on which path to take to reach that possibility. Now, for me, with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there were a couple paths that I took. I took a course, an online course called Keenan Online, Keenan Online. It's Keenan Cornelius's course. Super cheap, but he goes through pretty much every technique in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so that helped out a lot. And then there's an app on the iPhone called BJJ Over 40. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Over 40. And that might sound like, well, why do I want to learn, how old guys do jiu-jitsu? But one of the things is the stuff that he teaches works for everybody. But the whole point is to use as little energy and as little movement as possible. And those two things over time completely allowed me to take that path to the possibility of defeating those people in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who had been plaguing me for so long. But the same thing goes with business. So for me, I did not want to hire a massive amount of employees. I did want to, make 7 figures plus in revenue over time, I did not want to have to deal with W-2s and deal with payroll and workers' compensation and insurance and all this other stuff. And so I had to find courses and mentors that taught me how to do that, right? How to build systems, how to build automated systems through technology or systems that other people use. I had to find that path, right? So the plateau gives you the power to find the path to the possibility that lets you solve your problem. So what are you plateaued in right now? In this week, what I want you to do is enjoy the plateau and start start researching ways to get on the path to getting to the next level of that plateau. But don't get anxious about it. Don't get frustrated about it. Enjoy it. Enjoy enjoy being on the plateau, because just knowing that this is going to lead you to the next level, whether it's it will, whether it's now or a week from now or a month from now, you will reach the next level. It's just right now, your subconscious is finding the absolute best way to do that. And so just trust that God, your subconscious, your talent is helping you to find a way to break through and get to that next level. All right, this is Dean Soto. Go to google.com, type in Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast, and it will come up with your favorite podcast apps. Go and subscribe. The more you subscribe, actually, I was about to say, the more you subscribe, the more value you're getting. You can only subscribe once, but go and subscribe. But the more that you listen, the more value you're going to get. So go check that out. Go to prosulum.com, prosulum.com, if you want a virtual systems architect that can literally automate your entire business in 5 minutes, in as little as 5 minutes a day. Go check that out. Get yourself a virtual systems architect. And I will see you, my friends, in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.